Welcome to the 5th release of the UT Energy Poll. My name is Sheril Kirshenbaum. I'm director of the poll, and this is just a snapshot of one area that we're looking at, American attitudes on hydraulic fracturing. What we have is an objective survey looking at a public opinion on all things energy, and we hope that the data will be useful to inform and guide discussion, business planning, policy making, a whole variety of ways that hopefully this data can be useful to various different groups. What we did, this most recent wave, was an online survey. We conducted it between September 5th and 23rd. This wave incorporated 2,144 respondents, and all the data is weighted to reflect U.S. Census demographics. Now, on hydraulic fracturing, we've been following this issue since the spring of 2012, and we asked people, how familiar are you with the term hydraulic fracturing, also known as fracking? And what we've seen is an increase in the percentage of Americans who just say that they're familiar with the term. So you can see in the spring of 2012, we were at 32%. It went up to 42% by the spring of 2013. Now it's near the same, within the margin of error at 40%. I should say the margin of error for this particular wave is 3.1. So Americans are becoming more and more familiar with at least what hydraulic fracturing entails, or maybe just having heard of the term. And it's in a lot of movies, it's in a lot of documentaries. We can't say for sure why this is occurring, but maybe it's just coming up more in the media. At the same time, though, among those familiar with the term hydraulic fracturing or fracking, and in this wave, that was 861 respondents, there's been a decrease in those who support it. So specifically among those people who are familiar with the term, 10 percentage points, or 10% less of that group say that they support the use of hydraulic fracturing. Meanwhile, those familiar with the term aren't necessarily consistent when looked at across different demographics. So Democrats are far less likely than libertarians or independents, or even Republicans, to say that they're familiar with the terms. Meanwhile, you can see that white respondents, 44% are familiar with hydraulic fracturing, also known as fracking, but Hispanics are at 37%, African Americans are just 23%. I should note that Hispanics and African Americans are more likely to fall into the Democrat category, and as we just saw, Democrats are less likely to be familiar with the term, but just some notable differences. You can see by age things change as well. The older people are, the more likely they are to have heard of hydraulic fracturing or fracking. But this is where we start to see some inconsistencies. Now, we ask, among other questions, should the federal government focus on developing any number of these renewable technologies, natural gas, oil, nuclear, coal, or none of these? And they're not mutually exclusive. The most popular answer at 89% was renewable technologies. But you can see here, 82% of Americans say that we should focus on developing natural gas. Now, natural gas is inherently related to hydraulic fracturing. And so it's striking to see that there's so much support for developing natural gas, and yet so little support for more hydraulic fracturing. And this is just an example of that inconsistency we're spotting. Among women, for example, 86% are likely to say that the government should focus on developing natural gas, while just 33% support the use of hydraulic fracturing. And there's a similar, although slightly smaller, split for men, where 77% think we should focus on developing natural gas, and 41% say that we should support hydraulic fracturing. Similar question, should the U.S. Export natural gas to other countries? We're seeing a change in that, moving toward more people supporting that statement, or agreeing with that statement, I should say. So 6 months ago, in the spring of 2013, 28% said that we should export gas to other countries, natural gas to other countries. Now that's up to 34%, but we saw an even bigger change in the number of people who disagree with this statement, from 39 down 9 points to 30% this wave. So we'll be following this over time. The UT Energy Poll is really all about developing a longitudinal data set to look at how shifts in attitudes change with time, to look at shifting attitudes and how they change with time. But what we can see are some interesting changes taking place. That's all on hydraulic fracturing. We actually have a lot more on hydraulic fracturing, but I just wanted to create this small module just to give you a sense of what we're doing. And if you have any further questions, please email me, Sheril.Kirshenbaum@mccombs.utexas.edu, or visit the website utenergypoll.com for more information. Thank you very much.